All right, welcome back to another Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Yes, guess who's coming to dinner on a Wednesday? This is the third night we are together in this room talking about different issues and topics that have affected all of us during this pandemic. As you come inside, I just want you to let me know where you're from, where you're watching. Just let me know if you're watching the K Nicole company page or you're watching on my profile page. Let us know also what city, state, where you're watching from. Again, I am so thankful for people to come in and watch. Have been watching us continuously since the beginning of this month, December 2nd. I think we kicked it off with Latoya talking about anxiety and isolation and grief. Last week we had therapist Kiana Harper as well as Jane Lewis. We were talking about virtual learning for us parents, virtual learning for students, virtual learning for teachers. But tonight, I think it's a fun night. One, I get to talk to another. Again, I tell you all the time, everybody I have on is my favorite, right? Just like Toya, this other young lady who, and I'm calling her young, this other young lady who happens to be with me tonight is one of my other supporters from day one. As most of you know, I started, I started without knowing I was starting back in 4 years ago, advocating for suicide, mental health, and these two people, Latoya and the young person that's gonna be on with me tonight, has been my supporter since day one. So I'm excited to have her on tonight. This is her first time on a live with me of this year, but she's actually been with me on lives in the past. But tonight we want to talk about some fun, something that everyone loves to talk about. So this again, I'm going to ask if you can go ahead and like this live, go ahead and share this live. And if you're not already a friend with the K Nicole company page, please go ahead and do so. Again, that's K Nicole company page. So I'm not gonna delay the time any further ado. I don't like wasting time, y'all. So we're just gonna go ahead and bring in my special guest right now. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are you doing with these last, what is this? We're in the 12th month. So how have you endured these, what is it, 9 months, right? Or 10 months? No, it'd be 9. 9 plus 3, 12. Boom. So technically people are calling pandemic more, as of March. I mean, to be honest, we were in denial in January. But how have you personally been enduring the pandemic?
I think I've been doing really good. At first, it was well, first let me say this. Thank you, Kiki, for all the nice things that you said, and thank you for inviting me on your show. I'm very, very proud of you. I've been knowing you for a very long time. So to see you sprout out in bloom, it's awesome.
Well, thank you.
That from where you once were to now, it's just a miraculous.
Yeah.
A miraculous thing.
God works in miracles and wonders.
Doesn't he? And won't he? Won't he do
yes.
it? Won't he do it?
Yeah.
It's so funny. So to answer your question, I think I've been doing okay. I often tell people when I do, some injection for your souls, that we eat in famine. Christians and people who are doing what they need to do and have been doing what they need to do, which is saving your money, putting money aside if you can, or if you little penny here, that we're going to eat. But those that haven't, they're still going to eat, because we that have been doing it are going to make sure that we take care of those that haven't been doing it. How about that?
Yeah, I understand that. We got mommy. Oh, well, listen, I got some people. I'm going to shout y'all out real quick. I see y'all watching. Awesome. Let us know again. Let us know where you're watching from. I got a couple devices. So I'm trying to watch where everybody's coming in from. It's really weird. Because I have the company the profile, they trickle in different ways. So we appreciate everyone that's coming in. But again, I wanted to tell you, please share. We don't share. I'm not the person that shares for likes. I did say like if you like it, but I'm asking you to share because one thing I've learned in this short time, in 4 years, even just 2 years ago, is that people will somehow scroll on Facebook and see something that is years old, and they tap in, they watch, and they're like, man, I needed it. Knowledge never is not expired. It never goes out of style. So somebody might need this and we don't know. So I don't want you to, not share because you're like, man, this ain't, Kiki just talking. No, we talking good stuff. Every person that's been on here has been great. And I know tonight's even better. Let me tell you why. As it was just up there, relationships, y'all. That's what we're talking about. It's going to be a fun night.
Yes, it is. It
really tonight, is. I just feel like me and Shelle are just going to let y'all see how we talk. And we're going to ask questions. If you have any questions, I want you to know that now. If anybody that's watching, if you have any questions at any time, drop in the comments. Ask your question, and I will make sure that she addresses that question. Okay. So I'm gonna say something a little bit, and then we'll get into these questions. How we kind of talked about already. So when I talk about relationships, to let people know kind of what we're talking about. We're talking about all relationships. We as people know that we're all in some type of ship, a friendship, a dating relationship, a situationship. No, let me stop. But we all in some type of ship. And so maybe good or bad, our relationships have been affected some type of way during this pandemic. I don't know. One thing I'm gonna start off with tonight is I'm gonna leave off from where I left off last week. Is I didn't get to ask the parents. And parents, if you're watching, let me know how you feel about this. And Shelle, you can help us, direct us.
Okay.
I think kids lost their parents in these last couple months. Okay. I feel like parents became teachers and principals.
Mm-hmm.
They become more of a disciplinarian because it's not just being the parent. They now were like, they were enforcing what their teacher's saying, or they have become. And let's be honest, some of us were actually teachers April, March, and May, and a little bit of June. Mm-hmm. We're kind of doing part job with teachers now. And so I feel like the dynamics between the child and the parent has shifted. So for the parents who might need, like me, I'm gonna be guilty, who might need some encouragement, some advice, how do we put ourselves back into alignment? That's so funny that God said that. How do we get back ourselves in alignment with being our child's parent and like going back to loving them? And last week I talked about how kids want to be seen and loved and heard. Help us parents who might have lost our relationship of being parent to child, and we have become teacher to student.
That's a very good question, Kiki.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, can you hear me? You hear
me? Yeah.
I think for me as a therapist, I think the question is not that, the kids have lost their parent, but I think the question is that the parent has lost their parent. Mm-hmm. And so what happens to this now is the parent that was not parenting, was not helping with homework, was not really helping.
Wow.
Yeah, I told you I was going to bring a twist, didn't I? And that was not doing those things now have to sit, and now they have to become the parent. The very thing that they were running away from is the very thing that now they have to run to. That's why a lot of parents are having so much trouble trying to juggle this because they never had to do that. Hear what I just said. They never had to do that because the school was doing that.
Yeah.
They got home, guess what? They still wasn't doing it. Oh, okay.
No, you did. You did. Go there.
Doing it. And that's what you have to understand. It becomes very difficult and confusing when you have a parent that, one, wasn't doing it in the first place, two, that was doing it in the first place, but now is being held accountable for how much they're doing.
Yeah. That's real. That's real.
And so you have all these different dynamics now that are coming in to the family dynamics. And that right there makes it overwhelming for a parent or parents to try to now find their life in their children. Because you have to understand, and I said this to a parent the other day, you have to understand the school has our kids 6.5 hours or 6 hours out of an 8-hour day. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of time.
And then by the time they come home, we're looking for a snack if they get one, or to eat if they have a meal.
Yeah.
And asking them to do their homework, get done. By the time all that rounds up, we're seeing our kids about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, before they go to bed, before they go nighttime.
So now look at what the pandemic has done.
Yeah.
You are forced to see your child those 6.5 plus 2 hours. Okay.
I don't want to see him. You stop.
What'd you say?
I don't want to see him.
I know, right? And so that's where we have a lot of parents saying, you know what, this is like too much. I'm so used to giving them to somebody else to deal with. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I gotta deal with them, the whole thing. But let me say this. No, I'm not even gonna say that. But yeah.
Well, what about, can you help us? And I believe I don't want to put all parents in that group. What about the ones who may have just really lost themselves, right? Because me, I'm new. I'm new to the parent role. So you might have just lost yourself. You just became so consumed with the school aspect. And I'm gonna be honest. When I say consumed, I mean like I sometimes gotta check myself. Like they're missing their auntie because I'm like, did you finish this? Why is this not done? I'm like, oh, they're like, where's the love? Where's the auntie who was fun? Like, and I feel like some parents have fallen to that where it's like, where is the fun? Even though, because we all stuck in this pandemic together.
And that's the thing. And we're all going through this together. So my advice, to be clear, my advice to those that have lost themselves. I just had another client yesterday who was telling me, I'm so caught up into the schooling aspect that, I'm not parenting. I feel like I'm not parenting because of the schooling. But hear what you just said. I don't know how to balance the two. I don't know how to be teacher and then be mom. Well, one thing you have to do is change the environment of where your child is actually having school. This has been wonderful for my clients, and hopefully you can adapt to that, is that they need a certain room that says, I do school here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they don't need to be in the living room doing school. They don't need, because we live in the living room. We have the TV in the living room. They don't need to be in the kitchen doing that because guess what? We eat in the kitchen. And so there's really, while I'm in the kitchen, I'll be thinking about I need something to eat. And guess what? You're going to be saying, hey, do you want something to eat while you're doing something? Here's a snack. There you go. You know what I'm saying? But it has to be now you as a parent have to be disciplined enough to say, I need to separate the two. I need to let's go here. You know how church looks like? Your home don't look like church, does it?
No.
Yeah, when I go home, I know I transition into mom when I go home because it don't look like what I've been through.
Yes.
I'm through, right?
Right.
It's the same way for the kids. It's the same thing for school. Have a designated place. It could be even in their room with the door open. Have a designated place and continue what the school was continuing. Give them a break. I told another client, pack a lunch. Pack the child a lunch.
Okay.
So when it's lunchtime, guess what? Oh, you come downstairs to the kitchen and we eat, because we eat in the kitchen or wherever you prefer.
Yeah.
Guess what? When you're done, go back to school. You got to go back to school.
I like that. I think that was helpful. I think that was helpful. I think that was very helpful. And for those, I see y'all coming in. Praise God. Let me stop being on church because of you, Shelley. It's your spirit. So I thank you all that are joining in. I just want you to know like what exactly you're watching. Guess who's coming to dinner? I didn't even say that. Real short. Guess who's coming to dinner? It's simply as this. When we come to the dinner table, and Shelley, you can agree with me. When we come to the dinner table, we eat, right? We laugh, we reminisce, we tell jokes. It's all good. We never really get to the heart of a person. We never really address the issues that are going on amongst us at the table. Now, some people say, well, maybe different, maybe you do. But most people, we don't. We hit the surface things. So guess who's coming to dinner? It's simply that. We're coming, this is the dinner table, so to speak, and we're addressing these issues. And tonight we are talking about relationships, and they all have been affected some kind of way, good or bad, during this pandemic. So tonight I have Shelle Mathis here with me, a licensed therapist. I be trying to let people know I don't have the degree, but she do. So this is why we're going to help bring my little wisdom and your wisdom and guidance together. We're going to bring it together. All right. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know, y'all, from Mommy, Cuyahoga Falls, Sandusky, Washington. Awesome. Illyria, Lorraine. Thank you. Bedford. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. Keep on sharing. Let people know what we're talking about tonight. Just want to interrupt. Sorry about that.
That's good.
We appreciate it. I think I don't want to deep dive so much about the parent in school because I don't want people think we still on last week. We'll move on today. So relationships. It's fun, right? Like it can be. It can be, I actually have a book here with me. It says relationships. It's they were, what was it? They're made to be messy, right? Like they're messy. Well, that we'll touch on that later. Let's talk about this. I told you about how, and I see some young people. Maybe they'll agree with me on this. There was a famous meme that just kept coming around March and April and May, and I can't find. I kept trying to look for it. It said something along the lines of like, you know who your real friends are because they're the ones that check up on you, right? They're checking up on you during this pandemic. And I actually would say I'm guilty. I shared this meme, which means I liked it. But it just dawned on me before we talked, as I knew we were gonna talk about this. I was like, and I told you this, I said, that is so selfish for someone to say, I know who my real friends are, because my real friends are checking up on me during this pandemic. Well, what does that mean? Because I'm your friend and I'm not calling you as much because you feel like I should because now I have more time because I'm not working. Now I'm working as I got a kid. I think that the meme was selfish. So help those who are have friendships. And we're gonna go a little longer, but that me. So help people understand how, to me, I feel it's selfish. What word would you call it? I don't know. But I feel like people were very self-centered to think that this was a time for it to be about them. In a sense of their friendships should revolve around them. Like you get what I'm saying with that? Like
I kind of get what you're saying, especially with the meme that you had said. I think for me, see, I don't think it's selfish. I think it's typical. See, one thing you have to understand and know is that people will tell you and show you who they are.
Oh, well, yeah, very much so.
Especially during a crisis.
Right.
Have you ever seen those movies where that person, you got four friends together and, they're going through the woods and somebody, is talking or whatever and somebody's after them and the other ones just keep talking and the other one's just like, man, just shut up. And then, they turn around, they slap them a couple of times to get them together.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what the pandemic has done to a lot of people. It has slapped them around trying to get them together. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so with that being said, what you just talked about, I don't think it's selfish. I just think it's typical because when you're in a relationship with anyone and you're giving that person some special attention, yeah, it should be about me because you were supposed to check up on me. You do this, you do that for me. You say, you ask me about this, you ask me about that. We talk about this, we talk about that. Why aren't you checking on me during the pandemic? But the other way around is, why do you need to be checked up on? If you're grown, if you're old enough, if that's the case, then why aren't you calling out and asking that person, why aren't you checking up on me?
That's true.
I'm just saying.
I just feel like, friendships are just difficult. Okay? They're just difficult. Let me just put this out. I don't have any of those relationships, but I just thought like, nobody came at me like that. I've never even came at anybody like that. Like, oh, you check up with me, you're not a real friend. That's not true.
That's not.
But in the midst of talking about these relationships with friends, we're going to talk about on both sides. I'm going to ask this question twice. On the friendship side, maybe help somebody understand this pandemic gave us nothing but time.
Yes,
right?
It did.
How can we successfully mend broken relationships, friendships? Because we'll do them twofold. Right now we're talking about friends. What would be, your best advice or guidance to somebody like this? Time presented itself where it's like, I kind of want to be your friend again. How do I go about doing it? And I know many people like say that's immature, like elementary, but we don't really know. That's kind of surface level I want to answer. You can go, I know you, Shelle, so you can go deep dive. This can be, I'm answering the surface, but it might be some layers to it. Maybe somebody's saying, how can be somebody's friend again? And I don't know, they lied or they cheated, or how can I be somebody's friend again? Like you want to be, but the hurt has been done. And there's been nothing but time. And all you've been doing is thinking about it. So this pandemic has presented time.
But here's the thing, Kiki, and you're absolutely ain't no but. However, here's the thing is that the pandemic presented itself for time for the individuals to look at themselves and see, why did we become why did we become apart in the first place?
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so even with what you're saying is, if people want to get back with other people, you have to figure out why did we get apart in the first place?
True.
Now, there's reasons why folks got apart in the first place in any relationship, marriage, and friendships and things like that. They got away from each other for a reason and felt like it was time. But the thing about what time does, what I love about time, is time reveals who you are in any given situation. Give it time. Give it time. Do you remember how you may have gotten into a fight, and then after the fight, after you sit down with time, what I love about time, so you're going to get me going somewhere. What I love about time is that you sit down with time, and time looks at you, and you look at time, and time says, you should have hit him this way. You should have got him that way. You should have uppercut him this way. We've all been there, looking at that and saying, man, if I had a chance to do that again, time says, if you had the chance to do that again, would you do it the same way? That's the same thing for friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
Time, you have to sit down with time. God gave us this time to sit down with time and say, look at here, time. What do I need to do to get me together? Because I've lost all my friends. I've gotten laid off my job. Guess what? My family, now they really don't speak to each other. Time, tell me what we need to do to get all this together. See, you shouldn't have never started with me, because you know how I am, and I did that on purpose. I really, Kiki, I don't know, but sometimes we have to sit with time and say, time, tell me and reveal to me my issues. Time, girl, I'm feeling something right now. Let me go in just for a minute.
Yeah.
We have to sit down with our issues and say, time, tell me how to deal with myself. As happened is, we have let time go by, and time moves so fast that when we come to a halt, we don't know how to deal with it. When we come to a standstill, we don't know how to deal with ourselves in time.
Yeah.
We don't know how to deal with ourselves in time. So guess what? When you ask me that question, it's not about how I can go back to a place or go back to a person. It's how can I go back in time to recapture that which was lost. Okay, Kiki, I don't know why. See, you do this to me. What you was doing today, I'm gonna get you after this show, girl.
I just want to be churchy for 1 minute and just be me too. If that right there has blessed your heart, y'all, if that right there, I just honestly want to tell y'all, like, if you could put that in the captions, I don't even mean to be that churchy. Just say time reveals. So when you say time reveals, itself reveals the person. What do you say? Time reveals. Just put time reveals. If you agree, just put time reveals.
There it is.
Just put time reveals. I just need to know if I'm the only one that got that. Like, that right there was so
wow.
It is. But and I had to ask that question because I'm coming back to ask it again, because I have to be antagonist, I have to be both good and bad. And I feel like sometimes we be like, oh, okay, you don't talk about friendship, so that don't really affect me. Because, we like to play like dumb it down, like, oh, that's friendship. So I'm married. That doesn't affect me, or I'm single, or this. Because I'm coming. I got a question. Time reveals. Thank you, y'all. Time reveals. If y'all, thank you. Listen, they come in and show. Hold on. Let me show you. Let me show you.
Yeah, show me.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Okay. I just gotta let you know. This is why I love this. I love this. This is a beautiful thing. Man, you got me messed up on that friendship thing. Oh man. Okay, listen.
Okay. You, girl, I love you.
So we're gonna I want to go, and we're gonna come back to friendship, but I kind of, we talked about we're just gonna play with it. We're just gonna play with it.
I'm flowing with you.
So in this time, and I may be personal, but I also know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Carla says, "Hey, Shelle." Carla Pop.
Hi, Carla.
I want to talk because I know a lot of people in this, and it's kind of back what you just said about time. So you can tap back in and don't lose it.
Okay.
A lot of people have been presented with, again, not friendships now, but family past hurt. that they have had to address. See, I'll put myself out there. This ain't a Kiki show, you know, but I'm gonna put myself because I know people are all like me. I have friends who have had parent issues, father issues that have resurfaced because again, time has presented itself for these issues to, you know, think. So meaning, you know, you got people wanting your time. You got people wanting your time again. You got people who are ignoring issues that have happened because now, again, time has. I'm sorry, presented these issues. They never died. They never was. They never got addressed, right? So I guess the question I want to ask is, how do we do relationships well in the pandemic that have been caused by hurt that have not been addressed? Because a lot of us didn't have a bad pandemic experience, meaning like, you know, some people are thriving in the pandemic, you know? Because I'm gonna talk about relationships, intimate. We're gonna get there about intimate. Some people have found love, some people got married in the pandemic, but we ain't there yet. We talking about family issues. We're going back to the parents again. But we got people who have had relationships that they were like, you know what? I'm done with. You know, you crossed them off, right? You've crossed them off. And then now it's like they just popped out of nowhere. Like they popped out like this corona came out of nowhere. And it's like, how do we do relationships well? How do we do relationships well that have been maybe abandoned by the hurt and pain, unaddressed? And again, time has presented itself. So here we are.
Well, you know what? And I'm going back to, I'm going to
tap back in. I'm not mad at you.
Okay, I'm going to go back into time because time revealed that. Time revealed hurt, and time revealed, guess what? We are really not meant to be with each other. Time revealed that, you know what? You were sleeping with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Time revealed that you were on the down low when I thought you was on the up low. Time revealed all that.
But what's their parent? What was your parent?
You said, where's the parent?
What about these issues that have happened from the parent? These kids are hurting. We're adult children. We're hurting from parents.
Again, what time, you're not hearing what I'm saying. What time has done is it has presented itself for you to sit down now. Instead of being busy doing nothing, now you have to sit down and deal with the issues that you've been running away from.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really, and I'm gonna go here, and I'm probably jumping the gun on some question that you want to ask me, but I have to go here. What we have to see as people with the pandemic, with what's going on, is that now you have an opportunity to stop running from yourself and the issues that were in the house. Yeah, I said it. That was in the house. Because see, what we do is we keep ourselves so busy at work that we don't have to come home and deal with a whole lot of stuff because we too tired. And so what happens in that is we so tired, we don't want to deal with it, that we continue to make ourselves busy, not productive. Busy but not productive. And what the pandemic and the time in the pandemic has presented and has revealed is that, guess what? We really need to sit down and deal with our issues in the house, with our spouse, with our parenting, with our children. Okay, I said this weekend. I was had to speak at a function this weekend with Pastor Valerie, and I had to do a family group. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because you know who I am. God just moving into that. And one thing that God revealed, time revealed in there, was that people were asking, you know, well, what about, you know, I got a son that's wayward. I got this, I have that. Well, honey, he's been wayward. You just now noticing it because you got time now to see it.
Yeah.
You're not working all the time now because you got laid off. You now you're starting to see what has happened is we're getting covers that are being pulled off of the, oh Lord have mercy, you're gonna have me go somewhere today. We're getting covers pulled off of that particular family, or the Cosby family, if you will, or you know, the that Pleasantville family. We're getting the covers. Time is now covered. Time is now pulling the covers off of there, and now you really seeing how messed up, jacked up, toe up the family really is.
Yeah.
Because again, we're so busy not being productive, but busy doing so many other things that we didn't have time to deal with the issues inside the family unit in the first place.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real.
Okay. So somebody asked me, they asked me this. They said, well, how do I deal with so and so being all this way and that way, and my son, I went up in his room and I found a bag of weed, and oh my God, he's just started smoking some weed. I said, hand up, sorry baby, he been smoking weed. You just been busy doing nothing. You've been at your job 24/7. You're taking every shift that you can, saying you're trying to pay these bills, but really you don't want to come home and deal with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis acting a fool. I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's not so much as the parents, but it's what we want to deal with, because we pick and choose our battles, just like we pick and choose what we want to deal with.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And listen, I've done that so many times. I'm like, I ain't trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
I ain't trying, girl, and all we're doing is pushing it aside until the pandemic came.
Yeah.
Now you sitting with time and your kids and your spouse that keeps leaving the house. Said it.
Yeah. Listen. Listen. You
Kiki.
No, you can't leave it. You can't leave it. We still listen. We still in it. We only 30 minutes in this thing. We ain't done. We ain't done. Now, I thought about this today because I heard somebody who was talking about their counselor experience, and I thought I'm gonna just throw this in there because I think it's real. We've never talked about this, and I used to do a love relationship show, right? So we can categorize for all of them. Mm-hmm. But I feel like also in this pandemic, it showed us how people have unrealistic expectations of another person in a relationship. I know, I'm gonna just be a little kid because I'm single, so I have these unrealistic expectations because Disney, right? Because Disney taught me, like Cinderella, right? Unrealistic things. Those things ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna find my Prince Charming because I'm leaving my shoe at the ball. I'm not gonna have the little 7 doors. Unrealistic expectations, right? And I feel like we were able to see how much we have these unrealistic expectations in our friendships, in our spouses, or in dating, and anyway, because I also said we were going to talk about about relationships as far as business. Yeah. And I think sometimes we have these unrealistic expectations, and because I know I have both young and old in the room, I honestly do. I think social media plays a lot into this, but I don't want to blame social media. Help us digress this negative attitude of having these unrealistic expectations. And I'm gonna just say this part: people who are asking for things. This is very simple knowledge. I'm gonna give you this. I don't have a degree, but this is for free.
Okay.
You can't ask for something that you can't give yourself. That's always been my thing. Because if you can't do it yourself, why are you asking me to do it? But help people who have these unrealistic expectations, and you have seen your unrealistic expectations in this pandemic displayed. Wow. Is that good? We didn't talk about this, but I can throw.
And when you say unrealistic expectations, are you talking about in relationship?
In relationships, and we can go, and you can break it down however you want to do it. If you want to talk about unrealistic expectations in our friends, because sometimes we ask our friends to do something that really should be maybe our spouse doing it.
Okay.
Or maybe unrealistic expectations in your husband or your wife, and that really is your girlfriend job. Stop confusing your relationships. We know relationships are messy, but you need to figure out what relationship does this and does that.
I agree. And when you said that, a lot of things started popping in my head. That's why I had to ask you that question all over again, because I'm like, this Kiki really will get her after the show.
I love you.
No, yeah, whatever. So the unrealistic expectations that we have for people are greater than, like you just said, those unrealistic expectations. We can, and I say this, sometimes a person can only get here, but we're looking for them to our expectations are saying, I need you here, but they're only able to get here, but we still are trying to demand them to get here. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's realistic. That's really unrealistic expectation on that individual. You have to understand and know that there are people out there that cannot hold your capacity.
Whew, hold on. Can we just be churchy again? Can we just put capacity? I'm sorry.
Can't do this.
I
Can't do this. Lord, get me off the show. Girl, girl. Yes, because that's when we put the unrealistic expectations on a person. You know that person cannot hold your capacity, but we are telling them, I need you to hold my capacity. They're not capable of holding your capacity.
Emerson, the people in the back can't hear you. They can't hear you.
I love you, Amber. And so what we do is we say, you know what? I want you to hold my dreams. I want you to hold my goals. And they don't have goals and dreams that high themselves. So why am I sitting here having that person hold my capacity, and that capacity I've been building a lifetime? It's almost like asking when you get married and you get married to a person that don't have a whole lot of money, but they have love. Okay. Okay. It's not ain't that show. This ain't that show. This ain't that show. And don't invite me on one. I ain't trying to hear it. But we look at that and we say the dream wedding.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know they can't do horse and buggy and carriages. You know they ain't got that. You know by the time y'all get married and say I do, y'all already in debt minus 10 grand.
Yeah.
This wedding.
Yeah.
Because of the bottom line is there are certain people that are incapable of holding and handling your capacity.
That's
and
so good.
force that upon people to do so. We force it. And so when you talk about unrealistic expectations, it's almost, and I'm going to go somewhere, it's almost like a girlfriend. How am I going to do this, Jesus? Because you're going to take me off the show after I say this. It's almost like a girl being a wife to a boyfriend. I've said that some years ago.
Somebody need to hear that. Say it one time.
How realistic it is. It's a girl being a wife to a boyfriend. You're giving him all these extras and extras, expecting extras and extras back, and he can't do that because he's a boyfriend. He's not a husband. He's not a husband. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I hear you. I don't know about the people that can't that's online. We can't hear them.
Okay, because they got quiet for me.
Somebody say right here. There we go. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you. Thank you. Say it again.
Say it again, because baby, you better listen, girl. I'm saying some girls and some women are too busy trying to be a wife to a boyfriend.
Yeah.
They can't hold that capacity of, they can't honor that. They can't handle that.
Yeah.
It's perks. That's all they thinking is, it's the perks. I'm getting these perks. But they don't understand that with that type of relationship comes commitment back to. It's a reconciliation. You got to reconcile that thing back to me. You got to reciprocate that thing back to me. But
Come on.
They're not able to capacity. See, and I'm going to go here, and I don't know why I'm going here, but I'm going to go off center here because Kiki got me going. I often tell women, you have to be the cake. That man is just the icing, and the icing on a cake make you look good. See, we buy, you know that. Icing on a cake makes it look so good. That's what you pick out. You look at the icing on the cake. That's what he is. He's the icing on the cake. He's not the cake. Because if the icing doesn't taste good, guess what? We look at the cake and say, that cake ain't tasting good either. I don't think that cake gonna taste good either.
Yeah,
but that man, I'm trying to, Deanna, I am. But that man is not supposed to be the full Monty, the full cake.
Yeah.
He's not. You're supposed to have something to bring to the table. And I say this because you got me on this relationship issue. I say this. Listen, if the man becomes the cake and the icing, he can cut you any way he wants to. Done.
Stop it.
I'm done.
Stop it.
I'm done. I'm done, Kiki. I'm done. Woo, look at the time. Woo, gotta go.
Woo! No. We only that was only 9 minutes. We not done. We're not done. We right. Look at it. Look here. Okay, look. Okay, y'all coming in too quick. Hold on. Ooh. Ooh, yes, you catching it live finally. Yes. Oh my gosh, she from Puerto Rico. That's my girl. Oh, okay. Hold on. Y'all coming in too quick. Hold on. Slow down.
I see it.
Oh my God. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to catch it up.
Mm-hmm.
My God. Good night. No, don't we get
Okay. Hey, that's what I'm getting ready to do, Amber.
No. You're not done. She not done, y'all. Listen.
Almost done.
Listen.
Let me go.
Woo! Listen. I know y'all liking your sharing and your hearts. I didn't ask this question. You know, I was trying to do this earlier. Facebook family, y'all funny. Y'all so funny acting. You know, if I put my face on a flyer, then y'all share it. If I don't put my face on the flyer, you don't share it. If I ask a question in a simple post, you respond. If I ask a question with a picture on the post, y'all don't respond. Let me know for a minute. We're just gonna cut. We're just gonna look. She said we need segments. This is a part one. We really don't know who our audience really is. Yeah, I know we know y'all listening, but since y'all are watching, since I got all 25, y'all keep going back 4:30. Let us know what relationship has been affected by the pandemic, good or bad for you. You ain't gotta say what it was, whether good or bad, but just let us know, like, what relationship has been affected. And I'm gonna just be honest. I know a lot of people, so I'm gonna go off of dating for a minute to go to marriage for a little bit. But I can only speak from observation because I ain't engaged and ain't married. As we've known, if you've been watching people, and Shelley, I know you probably have clientele that are all in this that have been affected. We realize, and as you said this earlier, people begin to realize, one, they're spending extra time. So we're relearning who we actually, parenting. We're relearning the kids because that wasn't our job, and we're also relearning our spouse. Or if you engage and you live with them, what have you, you're relearning because you spend a lot of time at work. So you talk about kids earlier, kids being at school when they were with their teachers. But now we have to relearn our spouse or our fiance, whatever it is, because now we used to work 8 to 12 hours, right? And as I saw come March, the month that we decided to call it a pandemic, right? And stopping out of denial, we realized that divorce rates went high. Sky. And I was confused. I don't know if I'm the only one that's been confused, but I was confused. Like, this is when you get to be all lovey-dovey. Those who are the lovey-dovey ones, you get to spend the lovey-dovey time. This is the time you got to like chill and relax. I wish I had Queen Cookie. I know she on here. She was watching earlier. If I could be me for a minute. You got nothing but, if you married, you got nothing but time to do. Like, I mean, I didn't get why people was getting divorced. So it brings me to this question. I really don't know how to ask this because we've been talking about it so much. There may be somebody watching who is married, right? We don't want to speak to, because if you're divorced, you're divorced. And maybe, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. Let's speak to the people who are divorced, who maybe actually want to reconcile with the relationship, right? Let's talk about the people who's trying to save their grace. They are by a thin grace. And it's really nothing about them being a bad spouse, but they just the learning process. Because we know counseling, you hear us talk, but maybe they have really lost their learning process of how to relearn how to love their person. Because people go in and out of. So let's talk to the person who's by a thin grace. Can we do that for a minute? The person who's hanging by thin, they really love their spouse or whoever they're, and they just want to. They don't know. They don't really have the tools.
Okay.
They're asking you, what do I do? I want to save my marriage, right? But pandemic. Yeah, we already said earlier. Time reveals itself. I'm not talking about the bad side. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about it being a bad spouse or a bad relationship. It's just that opportunity, that option has came. Negativity is always there. So they might need help. They're asking for help. They're asking you, how do I save my marriage during this pandemic?
First of all, and hear me totally all the way out. I tell my couples that are married, I care this much about your marriage. I care this much about your relationship. See, because as long as that paper says that you're married, you'll be married. So let's move that out the way.
Okay.
Relationship that you want to save.
Yeah.
The marriage, it's the relationship.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there and make it plain because that's ceremonious. Guess what? It's the relationship. I'm bounding one with another in the relationship that we're going to be together.
Yeah.
Ministry, do some awesome things together as a couple in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, how do I save it? Well, first, you got to understand, wonder what happened to it. When was the last time y'all were actually in a good relationship, in a good place? What was around? What was the environment? What were you doing to make it that way? Because sometimes what happens is we get so caught up and try to deal with life on life terms, the bills and this and that, as that we start separating ourselves and saying the bills and making sure that you're okay becomes more important than emotional support.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we have to do is we have to bring back those couples and understand there's some emotional support that needs to happen, because somewhere around there, the bridging of the support has gotten warped or it's gotten torn. Okay? There's a tear in it of what you may think a relationship is and what I think a relationship is. It's not what I think a marriage is and what you think of marriage. It's what a relationship is.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of deep there myself. I kind of had to go back and say, oh, okay. But leave me alone. The bottom line is, one, you have to figure out when was the last time we were together and when did it started falling apart, because then you're CSIing your relationship and saying, I need to investigate this. See, a lot of times we don't want to take the time to investigate of where it became a ship.
Come on. That's yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how it became a ship easy, but I can't tell you how we started when we stopped the relation.
That, can you just say that part again? Okay, let me just say this, and I'm not being messy because I'm not saying nobody's name. None of my shows I've said anybody's name. I've known a lot of people that were engaged coming in 2020. I know a lot of people that's leaving 2020 single as can be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as we said earlier, for those who may just be watching in, you kept saying time reveals, and it does. It really does. It reveals your character. It reveals really who that person is. Maya Angelou always says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Right.
You gotta believe them. But that's real. I'm not even trying to be funny, but that's true. I think that's been true more than ever. Now, Shirley, I'm throwing you a monkey wrench because we didn't talk about this.
Okay.
But I will be
ignorant. There's a lot of stuff we've been talking about that we ain't talked about, Kiki. I'm just saying.
Shirley. Now, I will be ignorant if I let you leave here. Now, we ain't ended yet, but I'll be ignorant if I didn't leave without asking this question. 2020 is unlike any year, okay? I don't know where y'all at. I'm going to take y'all slow. I'm going to slow with y'all. I'm going to slow walk this thing. For me, I came with the whole mindset of new year, new decade, new mind. I'm all excited, right? And it wasn't a new year, and it was a whole new decade. COVID came. COVID came and did a lot of things, but you know what COVID did? I mean, not just COVID came. Pandemic came, and for us, you ready for each other? Because I'm ready, about to go here with it. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. My melanated friends. We began to see who really was with us and who was really against us. I'd be ignorant if I didn't ask this question of I just like the question of how to do relationships well with this racial tension. We would be ignorant if we didn't address our relationships. Have definitely been affected for people who have light skin, meaning, I don't like saying white all the time. Our light skin cousins. They are in our family. We work with our light-skinned cousins. And our relationships have definitely been affected. And I'm going to be honest. Some of us do not know how to do interracial friendships well. Mm-hmm. One, some of us don't know how to do interracial marriages well. I've had cousins who are, they're my cousin and their spouse are speaking on things and they don't know how to say it sensitive. I think we have, this year has presented, a climax of racial tension more than ever. And I'm gonna just say, I'm 31 years old, about to 32. So for me, this has been the climax of my racial tension of seeing a man being killed on our social media. Okay, help us do relationships well with interracial, not just our friendship, but even with family members who marry, outside their race, because I don't think people know how to do those well. Sometimes we're very ignorant because let's do this. We're not ignorant by choice. We're ignorant because we're going off our feelings, our raw feelings. So help us. The question is, how do we do these relationships well with this racial tension in 2020? Because it's happening in 21 too. Let's just
to get to is a how I want to say it. One, we have to get to being okay with the skin that we're in. That's one.
Okay.
That's one, because that's important, because a lot of people are not okay with the skin that they're in. That's why they try to be something else or pose as something or someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
For one. Number two is being okay to tell the truth, and being okay to say that when you're telling the truth is, I'm trying to give you a cultural education about me.
Yeah. Okay.
Who I am.
Uh-huh.
We don't like to do that, especially when we're working in corporate. Corporate, we think that they can say anything that they want to, or anybody can say, black, white, indifferent, can say anything that they want to say, and we're okay with it because we're in corporate America. But that doesn't negate the fact that the truth of the matter is, if you're saying something that is not right about my culture, I do need to speak up and not be so fearful. And not be fearful, and start educating one another about the cultural differences and what is good to do and what is really not so good to do.
Yeah.
I think if we're not doing that, and we're not doing that well, then the communication is blurred. The communication is choppy. The communication can come out like racial. And so if we're not doing that with our own brothers and sisters,
help us first. Help us first.
Okay? With our own brothers and sisters, because some of us don't know Angela Davis. Some of us don't know, I'm just saying.
Come on.
Don't know these types of people. They don't know Carver Washington. They don't know these people.
Yeah.
All they know is Obama.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said? We have to start educating our own, so that way they know how to educate others.
Yeah, it's true.
What? That's why we go to school. We go to school to be educated.
Yeah.
So when we come out into the workforce, the education that we receive, we know how to express it. We know how to tell people about who I am, what I am. Here's my resume, and this is what I can do and how I can do it and how I can do it well. If we're not educating our own, then guess what? We're gonna have a misfit of blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And something right now. We're gonna have a misfit. Remember the Santa Claus movie with the misfits, and they was on their own island.
Showing your age. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Some of y'all out there, Deanna, the misfits with the little reindeer. And they had the misfits, and and nobody wanted the misfits because they was on an island on their own. They had certain defects that they weren't good enough. They weren't good enough to go to the regular kids. So what they did was they took the misfits and their handicaps, if you will, and then they put them on a whole island by themselves. And it was called the Land of Misfits. That's what we're gonna have. If we do not educate our own, they will be on an island and a land on their all by themselves because of some little defect that we're not saying. Guess what? We need to clarify this defect. We need to clarify this communicate. We need to clarify the culture that you're coming from, because you're getting it all wrong. We're not looters. We're not robbers.
Somebody says the land of misfits toys. Somebody know about it.
That's it. It's the land of misfit toys. And so we're going to have that. So we first have to be okay with the skin that we're in. 2 is educate our own. And then 3 is any platform that you're able to have that qualifies for you or it allows you to be able to speak about it, you need to do that.
No, what? Oh, I agree. Now, I was thinking like whether or not to ask this question. I don't want to throw it off topic, but all right. Before I ask the question, I got a friend here from I want to say Houston that's watching us saying for her family, it allowed us to have conversations with our Caucasian friends, and it brought us closer together. I think that's positive. I wish a lot of people would have took that time. Or still take this time, because let's be honest, just because 2021 is coming doesn't mean we're out of this pandemic.
No.
And nor should we stop doing what we've done new in these last 10 months.
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I don't believe what we started doing new, incorporating our lives, the new things, the new habits. I don't believe we should stop that just because the pandemic will eventually end. Either. Whatever you took good out of this pandemic, because we're going to be in 2021 as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't end it just because you no longer have all that time again. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually we're going to go back to.
But I want to go back to that. I want to go to that. What you're saying. See, some people think that because Biden and those guys won, that it's over. It's not.
No, it's not.
This is something that has to continue and evolve into something greater.
Yeah.
It has to evolve into something greater.
Yeah.
I want to go somewhere too. When she said she sat down with everybody.
Yeah.
Growing your new. I like that, Deanna. What you have to understand is, again, if we're going to talk to people, we have to sit down with the agenda of educating and not sitting there, educating and relating, and not sitting there trying to get them on our side and understand, and with a force and being aggressive. You know what I'm saying? If I'm sitting here trying to tell you about me, I'm not trying to get you to get on my side and so forth. The Bible says, in all thy getting, get a what?
Understanding.
All I want you to do is just understand.
Yeah.
If you can just understand this thing, we good. Just take it as it's worth and just start understanding.
Well, I'm not going to ignore the question because I don't want him to see me in the street and act. He asked, what will be a plan to educate our youth? What is the plan to educate? And I can't speak for all. You can give you can give your opinion, Shelley, but I think I'm going to be honest when I ask this. I'm going to keep it up. Is that for me and the kids that I'm raising now, especially, is that I learned that I got to be their number one teacher. I got to educate them. And I say this being because who I was raised by. I was raised with grandparents, a mother in my household. And I learned as a child that your first teachers are your parents, is your family. Now, I know somebody will also ask the question of how can your family give you something that they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And sometimes I feel like your parents can only teach you what they do know. And at some point, we got to take the reins of ourselves and figure it out ourselves. What I've learned, and I'm gonna just give a shout out. I know he's not watching, but I'm not even lie about it. Professor Malcolm Cash helped me understand my culture a whole lot more at LCC. He literally took me to Tennessee and to Alabama. I saw the Civil Rights Museum. Now let's make a little bit off topic, just for a little bit.
Okay.
But he took me there. And sometimes we can't always wait on our home to teach us everything because they can only give us what they can. But sometimes we gotta wait and look to somebody else to help us. That's just like our Caucasian people who may be watching. You may not know our life and you might not know our struggle, but if you listen, you sit and watch, somebody will take you and help you understand exactly. You might not understand it complete, but you can sympathize and grab an understanding. I feel like.
I think Bradley. The first thing we really need to do is bring Black history back into our schools.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if we can't bring it into our schools, there is too much funding out there for you to write a program that's similar to the Black history. I hear you. That from the Black history books. there's too many programs that you can write in order to get the funding so the youth can learn about the culture. And it's not just about the Black people learning about our culture, but it's everybody learning about culture.
Yeah.
And so I think the first thing that we need to do is start bringing Black history back into our school system, so that way the youth are getting a taste of Black history. That's my biggest thing right now, and to develop programs that will allow you to teach Black history, and not only teach, but like what is that, Upward Bound?
Yeah.
Bound was good with this, taking you to the HBCU colleges and those types of things. But not only that, it would take you into Oberlin, and you would get the history of Oberlin, and
Yeah.
you know, and the slaves and all these different things. We need that back. We need that back, because somehow or another it's gotten lost in the sauce.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm back.
Definitely. No. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this relationship, right? Before I say that relationship, I think this is good. I think this is kind of where I'm going with this. Martha says the pandemic showed me what to expect and what not to expect from people and where I need to grow. You're not alone.
You're not, definitely. You done said it all.
You're not alone. And so what brings me to this is, I think we didn't talk about this. Offset, I'm apologize to you in advance, Shelle. I'm sorry that we didn't talk about this stuff ahead of time. I just know we can go.
Yeah.
So I want to give this, I'm going to ask a question and I want y'all to answer before I say it. We've already talked about parenting, relationships. We talked about engagement, marriage, friendships, kind of did a little bit of business, a little bit. But what do you think? Now, Shelle, you don't say nothing. I want them to talk with us. What do you think is the number one relationship that we should really talk about that we did not address? Oh, well, we getting there. What is the number one relationship that we did not talk about so far that you think is important? The number one. And okay, let me digress. For my people who may be saved, yes, I wasn't going there yet with God, but that is the number one. So I guess you say, what's the number two? Because I also know my audience is not all saved, and I'm not gonna, throw that up there. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep waiting. I should say, what's the number two? What's the number two relationship? What's the number two? What's the number two? We didn't talk about it. And I should be this. I should say this. I'm not talking about God, that relationship with God, because of the unsaved. That's not the reason I'm doing that. But somebody just asked a question. It said, is it like, there you go. They said, is it with ourselves? And I'm sorry. A relationship with God is number one in our lives, but we all understand we're not all there. So that's why I said number one, meaning like universal, right? I was trying to be respectful. And I mean yourself. We didn't talk about it, Shelle. Our relationship with ourselves is numero uno. Why? If you didn't learn nothing else about yourself, Shelle, help me out, because I know we didn't talk about this. I think I learned to love myself more in this pandemic than I ever did in all, 30 years, because 31 I was in February. Because I realized I was putting more weight on myself than I needed to do, right? I was putting more responsibility on myself. I wasn't really doing, we keep hearing the word self-care. It sounds very trendy, right? But the reality is, it's real.
It's true.
Right. And so I feel like we missed it. Here, these are the ones that understand this. And I'm not saying y'all don't understand, but let's go with the ones who know. Thank you, Stephanie. Ourselves. Thank you, Carmen. Again, yourself, Martha, ourselves. Love the skin. Yes. The reason why I'm saying this is because we forsake ourselves.
Absolutely.
We forsake ourselves.
Absolutely. I'm going to say this pandemic has allowed people to be able to stop running from themselves. And
no, I don't want you to do that.
And have to.
I'm not ready.
I know. And have to sit with themselves. Sometimes we don't want to sit with ourselves. Sometimes
No.
we don't want to hear the thoughts that go through our heads, and we run from that. And now this pandemic allows you and has allowed you to actually sit with you and deal with you and deal with some of the nonsense that you do, and some of the things that you should be doing, and some of the promises that you didn't keep with yourself. Okay? This,
Mm.
this pandemic has allowed you to not be honest, is to actually tell yourself, I haven't been honest with me. I'm not an honest person. Man, I lie a lot. Man, I'm a trip. Yeah, because you're so busy doing nothing that you've been running from you. And that's the thing. Guess what? You have to sit with you. You have to deal with you. Because guess what? Then you'll figure out why other folk don't want to deal with you.
Mm. Listen, they are coming in, they chiming in. Y'all got where I was going with. I'm glad I didn't lose y'all. Because I know, not being funny, sometimes our sanctified folk, they get mad like, it's God. I get it. It is God. But God even himself, now I ain't told us our context. It does say he rested. And one thing I'm going to throw this in, and you may say I'm wrong. We never did rest before COVID.
Oh,
We
absolutely not.
never rested.
No, we didn't.
Never.
Listen, we were so busy developing programs, so we didn't have to. And we didn't have to deal with we didn't have to deal with our kids. We didn't have to deal with anything else, because guess what? We were too busy developing programs that kept us busy and not productive.
And there's a difference. Let's help somebody out. There's a difference between being busy and productive. And sometimes, and for those people who are my Christian folks, sometimes we was being busy with church and not even doing God's work.
I'm trying to tell you, it
But
was if we were socially, we were doing socialites. We were socialites instead of we were socialites.
let me bring this back.
People
So,
that do the same thing over and over again, trying to get a different result. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
no. I just want us to understand that we have to in this time. If you have not done anything else this March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, now currently December, for yourself. What's the day? December 16th, right?
Yeah.
So we got 15 days. Can I count? 15 days. You got 15 days to do something for you.
Wait a minute, Kiki. I'm going to chime in, and that's not just getting your nails and hair done.
Yes. Or going to barbers or buying you a white tee or
No,
that. It ain't.
else total. We talking about serious self-care. Okay. We're sitting here talking about making goals for yourself.
Yes.
We're sitting here talking about making plans for yourself.
Yes.
When's the next time you're going to take a vacation, a 3-day vacation by yourself? What's going to happen? That's what we're talking about. Because when people, I'm sorry, Kiki, when people talk about self-care, immediately they go to hair and nails and feet done. No. You should be doing that. Okay. You should be doing that and keeping yourself up. That's cool. But when we talk about
Maintenance.
self-care, hello, you should be taking a shower. But guess what? When we're talking about self-care, we are actually talking about our mindsets.
Yeah.
Our mindset.
Yeah.
How is my heart? How is my heart?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the issues that's coming out of my heart that I need to deal with? Okay. Because I tell people this, and this is my sidebar issue here, is whatsoever in Proverbs it says, whatsoever a man thinketh, so is he in the word of God. And I use that for my clients as a I like that mental maintenance. I love that. Is
Yeah.
foundation, because what you have to think about is we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and we make 28 to 3,000 decisions a day. Hear what I'm getting ready. Yeah. So if I wake up with the thought of I want a piece of chocolate cake, guess what? I think about it, my body follows. Where does my body go? Goes in the kitchen to see if we have some chocolate cake. I still want a piece of chocolate cake. Guess what? I don't see the box sitting there. So guess what my body does? Go gets the keys, get in the car, goes to go down the aisle, does its thing, because I'm still in my head. I want the chocolate cake. Guess what? And I get home, and then I'm still saying I want this chocolate cake. I'm going to make the chocolate cake. my body is going to follow the very thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I can often tell what folks been into by where their body is taking them. I think you heard that.
I'm going through somewhere because you're making me think something else.
I know. I see it all over you. Because if we're thinking a thing, the body is going to follow. I don't have to ask you what you're doing because your body already tells me what your thought pattern is already saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I said your self-care is to get this head together, because we have to think some thoughts. There's some thoughts we have to deal with. There's some issues in our heart that goes to our mind that our body produces. Wow.
Yeah, just stop. Because this
Wow. So that's why I often preach, and when I am preaching, I have a sermon that says, kill what you produce. Because it started here.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to go there. See, that's a to be continued conversation because, we can't do that today. We can't do that today. So I want to, we wrapping up. We're wrapping up because I promised y'all I was going to leave you go. And y'all have not asked a question. I mean, we thank you. Y'all participation is excellent tonight. Appreciate y'all. I have to say this, and I just have to say it. I recently said this on Facebook, and this goes along with self-care and along with relationship. The best relationship, I think, the number one relationship is with self. And one thing I have to say this because I can't really do this in the next couple of weeks shows because next week we're talking with Deanna about dealing with grief again, but dealing with grief during the holidays, because as we know, next week is Christmas, the following week is New Year's, and we know grief is different. Okay, we talked about it earlier with Toya, but we just talked about grief as a whole, as far as just losing a loved one during the pandemic. About grief is grief, but it's different. Especially in this climate of COVID, as you experience a heartfelt one yourself, you didn't get to have everyone around you as you would like to. So that's next week with Deanna, and then the following week we're talking about going to a new year with a new mindset, but the same circumstances all around you, and that's gonna be with Tyranny Payne. So I can't really drop that with that one. But I'm gonna drop this with you, Shelley.
Okay.
Healing. Because that's what I got to do. I was doing a lot of healing. I was learning. I haven't actually accomplished this thing yet. But during the pandemic, this is what helped me in my self-care as a person get better. 21, I hope I can execute it. Which was this. I learned that healing does not require the other parties or other participants' apologies or acknowledgement in order for me to be whole. Someone may need it. Some of us might need the doctor, Shelle Mathis, to help us out because I'm being honest. There's a lot of people I know that are hurt and they're trying to get healed. They really are. But one thing I just realized, and maybe I gotta say it slow for people who didn't see my post. I had to learn this. I didn't say I executed, but I learned in my mind at least that your process of being healed does not count on the other person acknowledging their hurt or what they've done to you. It doesn't really involve their acknowledgement. I mean, their participation, which hurts me, which affects me big time. So can you help us? Because help the person like me who might be like, no, I want you to say sorry. I want you to acknowledge you're wrong. I won't. Because I don't think people realize that that's stopping their growth.
And that is so true.
So that's where
the teaching that I teach on that is, you wait on an apology that may never happen. You're waiting on an apology that may never happen.
Help us.
And so the big thing here is that even if the person gave you an apology, you're still going to CSI it and investigate it if it was real or if it was not. If it was this, they should have did it, that, and it's not for that. That really and truly, it's for you. The apology that you need is to say, you know what? I may have been wrong in something, but I wasn't wrong in everything. Okay? And the other part to that too is, let me take my time with this because this is so important. This is so important. And that is, we wait on an apology that may never happen. And then we take ourselves through reenactments of the very thing that has hurt us. And that right there is called emotional abuse. Because all you're doing is abusing yourself. They're not doing it anymore. You are actually rehearsing and cursing and trying to bring those reenactments back again and again and again, because it solidifies why I don't like you. It solidifies why I can't be around you. It solidifies why we broke up in the first place. You have to be careful with that, because that can cause bitterness on the inside. And that is nothing but a disease. And it makes you diseased with others. And so what happens is, now we have the concept that everybody is like that. Especially when we break up with males. We say, well, all men are X, Y, and Z, and they're not. Because that's your perception, because you keep rehearsing and cursing what happened to you. And what happened to you. I'm getting ready to do a webinar, and hear what I'm getting ready to tell you, because this is so important. And those that are out there that are listening, I'm getting ready to do a webinar called The Process of Letting Go. Because there is a process into letting something or someone go. And what happens is, we don't want to go through that process. We rather rehearse it, curse it, because that's all we know, is to rehearse it and curse it. And now you want to disperse it. And the disbursement is this, is the bitterness upon everybody else. Because that's what's growing on the inside of you, is a dis-ease that's going and growing on the inside of you. You say, Shelle, help me not to need that person to say anything to me. Well, here's the bottom line is, you said what you had to say in the first place, and you said, I don't want to talk to you no more. So you gave the instruction. They're following it. So are you. You said, don't talk to me no more. I don't even want to deal with you no more. I don't rock with you no more. Don't do this no more. And they're like, okay. And guess what? Now you want them to come back and come to you. No, you've already gave the directive. Now, what you have to do is, you have to follow the directive. And the directive is, I'm not going to see them anymore, and I need to start the process of letting this go. And so let me share a little bit of this with you. And that is, when you let something go, let means to allow. ING means to continuously, and go means to leave. So I have to allow that thing to continuously leave. That's called the process. And how we get through the process is to continuously leave. We allow it. We give it permission to go. We give anger. I give you permission to leave. Pack your bags. And this is what happens. Anger go ahead and it packs its bags. And anger start walking out and say, okay, you don't need me no more. I'm walking out. And then all of a sudden you think about that thing because you're rehearsing it and you're cursing it. And now you want to disperse it. You say, no, I ain't done yet, anger. Come on back here. I just seen him. I just seen something on Facebook with him. You come on back here. You can unpack your bags. I ain't ready. That is part of the process. You have to allow that thing to pack its bag and leave. And it's going to look back at you at a couple of times. Be like, you sure? And you got to say, I'm sure.
Let me interject for this. I'm going to just interject for one moment. We about to wrap this thing up. Is that I've even learned, Shelle, you may say I'm wrong, but I even learned, because Tiana said hey to us. Tiana watching all the way in Arkansas. She even said something I was going to say. She said, not just relationships with your significant other, but family too. And what I was going to say is, somebody not like this, but sometimes you honestly got to let your family go.
Listen.
It is so.
It's not even about somebody not liking it. That's biblical. Genesis 12:1, when he told Abraham, he said, get away from your countrymen, from your family men. He said, get away from them. He said, because I can't do nothing with you when you with them, because you acting too much like them, because they're the ones that keep you down. And when you get away from them, you a whole nother person.
Whole new person.
But you have to walk away, and you have to handle your family with a long handle spoon, meaning I know how to deal with you. I can say happy holidays to you, but I can't say Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Okay. I can say, Happy New Year, but I can't see you next year. So you have to look at that.
Yeah.
You have to look at that. Family can be a big part of you not getting where you need to be.
Woo!
It can.
I'm
And
gonna get kicked
I'm
out. That's so
trying to
terrible.
help somebody because I feel something right now. I'm really trying to help somebody out there. If you've got to let the family member go, it's okay for you to do that. Okay. It's okay for you to deal with them with a long handle spoon.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay to tell them bye-bye, because guess what? I can't see you in the capacity as a sister or a brother to me because you haven't been. I see you in the capacity of a cousin because you never. So I've got to walk away from you, because if I don't, you're going to ruin the
Ooh.
God said he wants to bless me with, because you're so jealous of me. You're so envious of me. You talk about me behind my back, and then in the corner, you talk about me in the corners at functions. Guess what? I don't need that. I'm sorry.
Ooh, my God, they are coming in. I'm trying to help y'all. Y'all, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Y'all trickling in so quickly, so quickly. My goodness. Oh my lordy. Listen.
You have to listen. There comes a time. Oh, girl, I'm feeling that thing right now.
And we had to address this, Shelle. We have to, because
we have to. We really have to, because what we've done is we skirted around the issue when the issue is in the house. We've skirted around that issue when the very thing that you should have went ahead and had, it was a relative that blocked it. It wasn't God blocking it. It was them blocking it.
man.
Blocking you. One thing I tell people, we never want to say, well, I'm going to get over that. I'm going to get over you. No. Don't do that. Because what I tell them, getting over means I got to get over that way, or I got to go around that way. You have to get through the thing, which means I've got to knock down some bricks to get through this thing. So guess what? Because when I get over something, when I look back, it's still there. But if I get through it and knock these bricks down, when I want to look back, I can't see nothing. I can't see nothing. You girl, stop.
Oh, listen.
So you cannot sit here and allow your purpose to be how I don't want you to allow your purpose to go by you because of a relative and because of family, because you can't take everybody where you're going. And guess what? They can't take you where they've never been. They can tell you about it, but they can't take you there.
Yes.
We wait on family to get us because they're family, and I get it. But some family, you better leave them alone, because if you don't, you're not going to have a future, and you're not going to have purpose, and you're not going to have joy. You're not going to have peace, because guess what? They don't want you to have it because they don't have it. I'm done.
Listen.
Look,
Listen. You throwing in the towel. Don't be throwing in no towels with me. Listen. This right here. This right here. I knew tonight was, like we said, we were gonna have fun. I don't know if people call this fun. I don't even think you think I'm having fun with you, because
I'm having fun.
Because we didn't talk about this. We didn't say that we was on. But listen, I had to throw that in there, okay? Because I'm gonna just be short and just we're gonna wrap. Is somebody asked me, like, Kiki, you're always so transparent on Facebook. And I feel like sometimes I only have these moments like this in all my posts to be transparent and to help people to understand that if I have to be the voice for the people, I've already said it. I'm cool. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind putting myself out there. But I know a lot of people are looking for healing. They're looking for wholeness.
Say it again.
A lot of people are looking to be healed, and they're looking to be whole. But if we don't address if we don't have these type of conversations, where we're going to, because okay, this might be a small plug, but we don't have these conversations at home, and we definitely don't have these conversations at work. Mm-hmm. And for those who are saying we don't have these conversations at church, we got to have it somewhere. We got to have it somewhere. So welcome to the Cane & Co company. Like, this is where we do these conversations. But honestly, we had to address it. And so for those of you who are just jumping on, listen, we addressed relationships like family. We addressed it engagement, marriage, relationships, guys. If you don't know anything else, we as people, save it unsaved, we were designed for community. Okay, we God, our creator, did not design us to be on an island. He designed us for community. So all of us are in some type of some type of relationship. Some of y'all are in multiple relationships. And I didn't, because earlier I joked about situationships, because that's a real thing. But it's really not. I mean,
I hear
dating,
you.
there's engagement, there's marriage, and then some people have divorced. There's not a situationship. But anyways, we needed to address this. Our relationships have all been affected by a pandemic, and hopefully your life, your relationships with your people, whether it be you found your tribe this year, that was a big, I've been using that word, tribe. Some of us got to find our own tribe, and everybody ain't for you, and that's fine. That's fine, but if you just jumping in, please go all the way back. I know we've been on here for over an hour and a half, or about to be an hour and a half. Thank you for everybody that's been with us from the beginning. That's appreciative. Again, if you are just doing this one, you saw Shelle like, oh, I'm a supporter. Listen, I appreciate you joining on, but I don't want you to miss anything we've already discussed earlier today, but also last 2 weeks, we've talked about, again, anxiety, isolation, and grief. Latoya, we talked about last week, parents, teachers, and students about virtual learning. Next week, Shelle, if you get a chance to just even watch, I know this might be a little heartfelt, but anybody who was recently lost someone, this is your first Christmas. This is your first New Year's. You're going to a whole new year with first. And if it's anything I know, first sucks.
Yeah, they do.
I can say it sucks. It sucks. It just does. I'm being human here, because I know sometimes people don't want to hear that. The human side of us mourn the fact that our loved ones are not there. And those who are saved, you rejoice where they're at. But let's not forsake. We're human. And so we still want them. We want the tangible side of them. We want to be able to touch them. We want to be able to call. We want to text. So that next week, we're going to address with, again, Deanna Robinson. And then the last, so to speak, of this year, we're going to end out with thinking about new thoughts, new mindset. And I want y'all to join me really on the 30th. I know it's the night before the New Year's Eve, and you got in your dress or whatever you're doing, whatever you're going to do for New Year's. I'm still celebrating New Year's Eve. I don't know about y'all. I'm going out with a bang, okay? The year might look ugly, but I'm about to look sexy. Okay, let me stop. I'm ending out this thing good, because I feel like the way you end a thing is also how you start a new thing. And the one thing that we're going to address the 30th is, again, that mindset. If anybody realized that we're not just having conversation, every topic that we've addressed these Wednesdays, and every time I've ever addressed this entire year, let me just say this and we're going to leave out, because Shelle, I want you to plug your information and let people know whether or not you're accepting clients for. That's how we're going to end up, is that everything affects our mental health. And I think a lot of people be like, and I've said this in all my lives, mental health and mental illness is not the same thing.
Exactly.
We all have a mental health to take care of.
Exactly.
But not all of us been diagnosed with mental illness.
Right.
We're doing a disservice to ourselves when we don't take care of our own mental health. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm just fine. No, we put too much pressure. But Shelle said something, and I'm going to plug this in, and Shelle going to tell us about herself. If you have heard any of my lives, heard my conversation, Shelle know that she will be returning back in 2021. Why is that? Because we have addressed it, that we're going to talk about mental health, and that in the church. Listen, I don't care if you are Baptist. I don't care if you're Lutheran. I don't care if you're I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care who you are. If you go to a church, a mosque, a mass, wherever you are, we are going to address mental health in the church. Okay. And Shelle will be back with us. Now I told her to stay in her one vein. If you've been watching this whole time, you didn't know, Shelle's a woman of God. She's a minister, but I need to stay in her vein of a therapist on these lives. But yes, it's coming. It is definitely coming. It is coming. So Shelle will be returning 2021.
Thank you.
We coming out here. So Shelle.
Yes.
Let them know, where are your services located? Because I'm not gonna lie, we got my girls. She in Puerto Rico. She can't come get your help unless it's telehealth. But we got people all over. This is not just Ohio that's watching you. Let them know what's your service, where you at, where you located. Are you taking any clients? Sliding scale? How does that work? Let us know all your details.
So it's Shelle Mathis Counseling Services, LLC. We are located at 102 and 104 4th Street in Elyria, Ohio. The number that I can be reached at is 330-577-8548. Again, that's 330-577-8548. I am taking new clients, and we take all insurances except Medicare. Okay, I do not take Medicare clients at this particular time. Hopefully, that law for us as licensed professionals will pass next year, where we will be able to sit on the panel of Medicare. And so I do individuals, groups, Christian formation, spirituality, as far as, your relationship with Jesus Christ. I do groups. I do couples, married couples. I do child and adolescents. I do teens. We have a group called Unbreakable Me that will be starting back up in January. And Unbreakable Me is for anyone who has been abused in any type of form or fashion, mentally, physically, sexually, or anything. We have a group that meets in the last Thursday of every month. We're going to start doing that. And then we're going to bring on board Unbreakable Him. I'm still trying to find a facilitator for that, because men have issues.
Yeah.
Have issues, and we need to start reaching out. Women, we do have a lot of services for ourselves, but men, we need a men's group. And so then we have Unbreakable Us, which is a family group, and that is going to talk about the issues that are going on within the family. So we're going to start getting that together as well. We did branch off, and we are in Georgia, Georgia now. Georgia, we will be actually debuting that next year, probably in March. We're getting all the little details together, and we will be in Wisconsin as well, and so we will also be in Texas and Tennessee by the end of 2021.
All right.
Shelle Mathis Counseling Services is expanding, and we're expanding into the states. So hopefully, when you see a billboard, or when you see something come your way, that is us. But please, if you need help, and if you don't think that I'm a good fit for you, I'm like the Good Samaritan. I tell people, if you don't think I'm I plug mine in, but you got to go where you fit. You got to go growing. You gotta, just like we say, sow where you grow. You gotta go where it's going to be a fit for you, because this has got to be a great experience for you. Because if it's not a great experience for you, then you won't tell others that counseling does work and it is successful. So again, it's 330-577-8548. Or if you need to find a therapist, go to your mental health board, go online to the mental health board, or just plug in Psychology Today, and they have all types of therapists everywhere. Okay, not just me, but everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, I have been the first. When I first started off we're private practice for 7.5 years. I've been doing this now for 17. And so when I started off, I was the first African-American female Christian private practice in Lorain County. And I am so excited about that. So it's hard to find the skin that I'm in around here.
Yeah.
Here. Okay.
Yeah.
So help someone, or if not, go on Psychology Today, and there's a host of wonderful, wonderful colleagues of mine that are out there.
Shelle, you got to have a private conversation, a sidebar with Trish. She wants to know why you're not in North Carolina. But
we're getting there.
Adriana is a friend of mine, and she said she needs to see you. She said she hasn't seen you in forever. So listen, if there's anything that has ever done, like Shelle said earlier, and I don't toot my horn, she was there at the beginning, y'all. I wasn't trying to advocate for this. Okay, but just be honest, I wasn't trying to advocate for suicide. I was just trying to be a speaker. I was trying to build my platform, and this has been laid on my heart for 4 years now. So if there's anything that I will say that Cane & Co Company has produced, it is connections. I have friends, find counselors through everything I've done. I celebrate people going to therapy.
Yeah.
And so if you check every live I've had, people. Literally, I've got multiple different therapists that work for different people. I've had people hit me up. I'm like, can I get connected to? Yeah, if there's anything that K&Co Company has done, it's people connected with therapy. It really has. I know I can say this because she's not mad at me. I know Jazzy talks about you, Jasmine Stafford. She talks about you a lot. She talks about how much she owes her success to you right now. Tierney Payne wants to say congratulations to you on the expansion of your business and ministry. So again, I'm appreciative of the support of everyone. She just said she sent you a friend request, Adriana did, so you better go and accept it. She watching you.
Girl, okay.
Listen, tomorrow, everyone has been watching. Tomorrow, I'm going to make a check-in post. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to show me and Shelle. Yes, you've been engaged in it today, but tomorrow, I need you to take time and dive in and tell us exactly how you enjoyed tonight's show. That's not for now. That's for tomorrow. Get your words together. But on that note, Shelle, you stay on. We just going to say goodbye, and we'll be back. I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 7 o'clock, same place here on Facebook. Again, if you're not my friend on K&Co Company page, go ahead and like, share, and all that good stuff. And this is actually going to be on YouTube. So if you got friends who don't like Facebook, this right here video is actually on my YouTube page. Look up Keandra Booker, and you can find Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Shelle Mathis. All right. On that note, Shelle, thank you. Stay on.
Thank you.
Everyone else, have a good night.